Today we are going to be looking at some cowboys, or more specifically Texas Rangers, but I'm going to stick with cowboys. This one is really special because I've never ever looked into anything Western related or cowboys for that matter, so I'm going completely blind other than what I found on Google. So stay with me and let's look into this a bit more. Now you can find these miniatures at the Gringo40s website, and on that website there is tons of different types of miniatures. You can see you got the 40mm as well as the 28mm, and there's a whole different range of historical periods on there, but we're looking at the Texas Rangers. I just call them cowboys because I don't really know too much of the difference, and you can see there's just lots of cool unique looking models. Look at that guy at the top hat on. But yeah, really lovely sculpts. Gringos do some amazing stuff, so definitely check them out. So once you've got your cowboy or Texas Ranger, it really is up to you how you want to paint it. But first of all, we want to prime it with Tamiya Surface Primer Light Grey. Now I have absolutely zero knowledge when it comes to Texas Rangers or cowboys for that matter, Wild West and all of that sort of southern states action with the American Indians and the Mexicans and all of that. I don't really know much about. Actually, I just admitted to it, zero. So I used Google references, and I'm using medium blue for these trousers. Just again, I think you can really use whatever sort of colours you want to. I'm using khaki for his shirt, so like more of a khaki creamier sort of shirt, and the blue trousers. I know there was like white shirts, there's obviously darker shirts. Same with the trousers. I think I saw a lot with black trousers. So I think you can have a bit of fun with it. But I think this sort of is good. I don't use blue, so I thought I'd give him some blue trousers, do something a little bit different, take me out of my comfort zone slightly, but still stick with that khaki. So I also use the khaki for any objects I'm going to be painting gold. So his actual rifle, which I believe is like a Missouri rifle, there's parts of that need to be gold, as well as the handle on his sword, so I'm painting that in gold as well. So I'm using khaki as the base colour, and we will highlight it with gold later, but I'm picking a colour that's similar to gold, so when I put that metallic colour on, it's going to sit nicely opposed to needing like 20 coats of the gold. Now for his bag, I'm using German Camel medium bag. It's more of a satchel, but it looks like it's more of an American Indian satchel. Just the sort of design gives me American Indian vibes, so I'm assuming it's something he may have taken from somewhere. I'm also painting the scabbard in that colour, and most of it, so like his belt, I'm going to be painting in that colour, as well as his boots as well. And his boots have also got the metal like buckles on them that ching along as you're walking around, so just be aware of that if you're painting this model. So try not to paint them in that brown. Then for the rifle, I'm using my typical wooden recipe, so I'm using flat earth to start off with. Sort of got like a shotgun feel to it. It's the closest thing I can think of. Again, I had to Google it. What does it look like? What part of it was gunmetal grey? What part of it was gold? What part of it was wood? So if you're in the sort of similar boat to me, then yeah, definitely Google it. But it's a lovely sculpt. They actually look so cool as well. I just love the cowboy nature to them. So anything goes, arm themselves to the teeth with all different types of cool weapons, unique weapons. So for that gunmetal grey, I'm going to start off with black grey for this rifle and any other metal objects other than the pure silver parts. So those buckles on the shoes, I'm not going to be painting them in black grey. I'm actually going to be painting them in silver, which we will see in just a short while. So for the hat, I'm using medium grey. Again, the hats came in different colours. I could have even painted it like a dark grey or a black, but I wanted to give it more of a Texas Ranger modern colour. I think the modern hats are this cream colour. Again, I don't really know. I'm just going by what I saw on Google Images. So if you're from the southern states and you're clued up with all of this, please do educate me in the comments section and let me know what the heck I'm actually painting. It's all I know is an awesome figure. Then for his water bottle or canteen, I'm painting just the lid in that same colour, that medium grey. Now for those metal parts on the boots, I'm using base lead belcher. So it's a silver from Warhammer or Citadel, but any sort of silver will do nicely. He also had a scarf, so again, just paint it whatever colour you want. I think red will really make it stand out, so I'm using burnt red. You could obviously paint it white, whatever colour you want to really. And now I'm going to give him a wash. So first of all, I get my Battlefield Hobbies Citadel paint holder and the Painting Panzers exclusive one, which you can own as well, which I'll leave all of that information in the video description. And then I give it a Null Oil and Technical Medium 1:1 ratio wash. So it's going to act as more of a in between a wash and a glaze. So it's going to go in those recesses really nice and dark, but on those flat surfaces it's going to remain quite light. So it's just not going to become a big black blob of ink. So once you wash it, should have something like this. I've actually already started on the trousers. As you can see, they're really quite highlighted. That right side, on the left side, if we're looking at it, not from his perspective, we're going to go ahead and try and bring up to that really whiter looking blue. So we're going to start with medium blue, and it's all about layering. So we're going to start the layering process. Lots and lots of details, lots of creases and little areas that need that dark shade or base color left in the shade. So I'm using that medium blue just to really paint the majority of those trousers back up, because I'm going to be building on the layers. Now I'm moving on to medium blue and white grade, a 2:1 ratio. So you can see it's more of like an aqua blue now, or a light blue, which is pretty cool. And then eventually we want to make it into a white, and you can see how I'm building up those layers now. So this isn't my final highlight, so I'm paying quite a bit of attention to most of the trousers again, leaving some of that color that we put on previously in those sort of darker areas, and then I'm building on where like the knee creases and the folds and that are. And then eventually I'm going to finish with medium blue and white grade at 1:1 ratio, and this is the final highlight. So you can see that I'm paying a lot of attention to the knee, and I'm paying a lot of attention to this area that's sticking out. That's like the crease line, but the actual top of the crease. This is all about highlighting. We're picking out those raised areas to really make that bright color pop. I'm also going to use this colour to paint his buttons on his trousers as well. And then with that done, we can move on to his shirt. So I'm using khaki again. You can see khaki and medium grey look very similar, especially when medium grey has been given a wash. It's more of a creamier khaki colour though, so they are different, especially in person, they're very different. But in this video format, it's hard to really distinguish between the two, but you will see it later on. Now I'm using Iraqi sand with that khaki at a 1:1 ratio, and this is just going to give it more of a yellowy tinge to that khaki, or a deserty tinge, and it's going to make it a little bit brighter and look really good. It's also going to give you like a dirty khaki colour, which is obviously where you're going to want these cowboys or rangers there out in the wilderness, probably not having a bath for a while or being able to wash their clothes. So with that done, we can now paint those brown parts back over in that German camo medium brown. I am going to separate the highlights. So I'm going to use orange brown, I'm going to use beige, and I'm going to show you why. Because I'm going to paint them using two different types of highlights to make the leather areas and just like the bag areas separated in terms of the highlight, which will give them a nice difference even though we're using the same base colour. So for the leather, I'm using German camo medium brown and orange brown. So I'm going to paint all the straps in this with this highlight. So you can see straight away, look how that makes that strap pop. Adding in little details on the strap for the bag and the strap going to the scabbard. I'm also going to paint the scabbard in this colour, his belt. So you can see there's that scabbard going there. It's also got a pistol holster, so I'm going to be giving that a highlight as well. It's such a nice combination, this medium brown and orange brown for leather, or one leather look. Now we're going to use German camo beige World War II at a 1:1 ratio, and now this is for the bag as well as his boots. So even just, we're using the same base colour but two different highlight colours mixed in with the base colour, it's going to make it stand out a little bit more. and it's going to break up the medium browns, because there's a lot of medium brown on all of his bags and his webbing. And I'm painting the canteen holster or highlighting it in this colour too. So yeah, it's going to help distinguish the different types of browns on there. I'm usually using it for the handle on his sword, as well as these boots, as I've already mentioned. Now we can move on to the wood. So as I always do, I use flat earth for the wood. So going back over it, and you can see that I'm just doing just scratching in lines now. There's no real method to this. This is literally just scratching in lines, trying to simulate wood grains. So yeah, I'm pretty careless when it comes to wood, to be completely frank. I am really not that bothered. As you can tell, there's not a lot of control, just lots of scratching. Then I use that flat earth and orange brown at a 1:1 ratio mix. So this is going to brighten that flat earth up, give it almost like a new wood look to it. But again, scratching it on, so leaving those different shades of this flat earth in between each other to simulate different types of wood grains and the like. Then we can finally finish with orange brown. You don't need to do this step. This next step is completely optional, but I think orange brown just gives it a nice bit of brightness. Don't put too much of this on. You can even water it down just a little bit, just so it's a bit more transparent, and then you can just add in those few little brighter scratches just to make that wood pop. And you can already see just how great that wood looks with that orange brown. We repeat the process, but with the gunmetal grey now. So we're using black grey for that. Obviously, if you had any other type of metal other than what we want to paint in silver, so like the sword and that, we could paint that in this colour. There's lots of details on this rifle, so just make sure that you're capturing them. Again, use Google if you're unfamiliar with them. And then I use black grey and basil grey at a 1:1 ratio. And I'm just capturing all the details, and I'm making sure I'm getting all those raised edges and getting the top of that gun barrel and then the side of the barrel underneath. And it's because it's a subtle change it's a bit lighter, it's not so dark, and it's subtle. These highlights don't stick out like a sore thumb. There were two gunmetal grey rivets or something on the wood there, so I've just painted those in. And then finally, I'm going to give it a very light highlight of basil grey. And there's plenty of details on these Gringo40s miniatures. There always are. Their NAM stuff is really, really nice. You can see that on the channel too. And Jed is such an awesome bloke to deal with, so please show him some love if this is your sort of thing, or if you're into something else. Like I said, there's Vietnam, there's Aztecs, there's all kinds of very unique and fun miniatures on that Gringo40s website for you to enjoy. Then for the gold, I'm using gold, surprisingly, from Vallejo, and you can see with just one layer, after putting on that darker khaki colour, it just sticks out so nicely and it shines right through. So there's no mucking about trying to put 20 layers of the gold paint on. It just goes on there really, really nicely, really pain free, and just looks the business. Now I'm going to use my silver again, so that's that base lead belcher. Sorry that we've cut off a little bit. I was trying to highlight my beautiful personalised Painting Panzers Citadel pot holder. Again, exclusive, so if you want that, you can get it for free, believe it or not. You just need to purchase a building from the Battlefield Accessories tabletop ready range, but all of that will be in the description. And then to highlight that, which might be a bit overkill because it's probably going to get weathered, we're going to use Stormhose Silver, again from Warhammer/Citadel. I don't know what the correct term is, I haven't really shopped there for many, many years. And then for the scarf, we're going back over it in burnt red. So I'm painting it more as like a dicky bow tie. So I'm doing the two outer edges and then the middle part of that scarf or tie. I'm not exactly sure. And then burnt red and flat red at a 1-to-1 ratio. You probably don't need to do this, to be completely honest. You could probably just go with flat red. I think the only reason I've included this is because if you don't want a super dark red, a super bright red, you could do this as a substitute. But in the end, I looked at it and thought, you know what, it's still just a bit too dark, so I'm going to add the flat red in. So ignore that step if you just want a really bright red. But if you want more of a warm red, then you go with that 2 ratio that we saw before. Now for the hat, I'm going over it with medium grey. Now this hat doesn't really have many creases in it. It looks like it was quite a good hat in terms of very hard to bend and misshape. So you're just painting the flat surface pretty much in that original colour, but leaving the dark base colour around the part where it meets the head. And with that done, I had a little bit of white, so medium grey and white grey at a 1-to-1 ratio, and you can see that just lightens it up just a touch, and I'm just running that along the outer edge of the hat. So just taking my time, scratching it in there, trying not to rush the process, because we're all but done here, so you don't want to rush it and make a mistake. Then for like the sheriff's badge or the ranger's badge, it's just a star. I'm using Iraqi sand just to make it stand out a bit, make that star pop. And then that's how it looks from my point of view of it finished painting. But we'll put it on the in the light box and put it on its little spinner like we have now, and you can enjoy the finished product with good lighting. So yeah, really cool. I can say that this is the first ever Western or Cowboy or Ranger, Texas Ranger that I've ever painted in my life. I definitely need to watch some of those Western movies just to get a bit more inspiration and sort of see what clothing in that Hollywood reckons that they were wearing. But a huge thank you goes out to Jed. This is just an awesome model, and it's a treat that you sent me out some of this range. Another thank you goes out to my Patrons and YouTube channel members. You guys are awesome. Special mention to Patrick and Oscar for being those Panzer Aces. You guys are just superb. I'm going to leave it here, guys. Let me know below what you would like to see next, and I will catch you at the next one.